I'm Ed Chung. Again, I have Meniere's disease. I'm also an internal medicine physician who is going through this disease process, and I'm creating all these series of videos to help others with this. You probably have already listened to my other videos. This video is for those of you who've already listened to my prior Meniett Device video, and so this is a little update, a 1 month update on my experience with the Meniett Device and my tympanostomy, and I'm going to give you my recommendations and what I've experienced with this, so that others out there can hopefully get a little more thought or information about whether you'd want to try this device or not. I have no financial ties to this company. I think it's Medtronics that makes this, and but I'm just giving these videos just to help others, hopefully, who are thinking about using this device. So it's been exactly 4 weeks now since I've had this tympanostomy tube placed in my right eardrum, and I started using this Meniett device. I put the link in below in the description of this video. And what I do have to say is that actually I am doing better. And, for the prior 3 months before I started using this Meniett device, I was getting worse. The Meniere's disease was getting worse to the point where I was literally getting every other day nausea, a little bit of vertigo, just feeling awful and really bad with the Meniere's disease and the fluid in my right ear. And maybe right now I'm doing better because Meniere's disease is just calming down. However, I do have to say that I do not feel that the reason I'm feeling better is because Meniere's disease is calming down. I can still feel this fluctuation and the fullness and the deafness and the tinnitus, and the severity of the Meniere is still ongoing. However, the reason I am feeling better and doing better is because that the actual nausea and the vertigo is much improved. I'm still getting it, but it's still much better with using this device 3 times a day for the past month. The fluctuation of the deafness and tinnitus and the severe fullness to the point where it just hurts and aches, I'm still getting those things. But again, at least now I can at least function. I can go on with almost a normal life. I can drive, I can go to work, I can think, I can do most things because that vertigo and that nausea is much better controlled. And I do have to say I still have to take a nap, and the Meniere still bothers me, but it's less so with this Meniett device. So again, just to remind everyone what the Meniett device is, this device is actually this thing created by this other physician, I think is Meniett guy, who got this thing. I believe this device got bought out by the larger company of Medtronics. But basically, what it is this little. It's essentially an aquarium pump. Again, just to show you, it literally is just an aquarium pump with aquarium pump tubing and basically an earplug. And what you do is you turn it on, push the button, and you put this in whatever ear that's affected. You do absolutely need a tympanostomy tube in place for it to work, and then the thing will flash, and then it'll turn solid. Once it turns solid, well, this didn't turn solid because the battery's dead, but it'll turn solid on the next light, and it'll start actually pumping this micro puffs of increased pressurized air. And it goes pop, 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 pop. And it does this over about 40 seconds, and then it gives another minute of break, and then it goes pop, 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 pop again for about 40 seconds, gives another minute of break, and it does it for a third time, pop, 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 and then it gives another, then it stops. And you're supposed to do this 3 times a day in order to sort of, quote, squeeze out some of that fluid in your ear. So here are my observations, and I listed them by number. So first things first is in my recommendation or observation is that this therapy is not for all Meniere's disease sufferers. If you just recently got diagnosed with Meniere's or have just had it for less than a year, I do not recommend this device or trying this quite yet, because I would only really recommend this for patients who have had Meniere's disease for a prolonged period of time, and you're in the mid stages of Meniere's disease. And what I mean by mid stages of Meniere's disease, meaning that the vertigo is getting progressively worse Nausea is getting progressively worse. Symptoms are happening most of the time, and it's affecting your lifestyle or the way you just interact with people or the way you live. And you're seriously thinking about either some kind of invasive surgery or some kind of invasive destructive procedure, such as gentamicin injections. And I was getting very close to that, and so that's why I started this and tried this device as far as a temporizing measure. And maybe this won't work after a while, but at least for now it seems like it's working. So that's the number one thing. Number two, you absolutely need a tympanostomy tube placed in your eardrum for this to work. You can see my prior video. It's relatively easy procedure. Your ENT person can do it. Any ENT physician can do this. They do this all the time for little kids, for recurrent infections or blockage of the eustachian tube. You don't even really truly notice that it's there. It does not hurt once it's in. I do have to say that at the rare times that my hearing does come back, there's no fluid in the Meniere's, these seems better, and I can hear. The tympanostomy tube does seem to blunt a little bit of the fine hearing, probably because it's sitting on the eardrum, but that's almost nothing, because 99% of the time I'm like mostly deaf in the right ear. So number three, I do notice that the Meniett device seems to primarily only help with the vertigo and the nausea, and the dizziness, but it does not seem to do much for the deafness, fullness, or the ringing tinnitus. Again, the tinnitus is a secondary thing because your brain creates that sound to compensate for the hearing loss, and there's no scientific way of explaining why that it only it seems to really help with the vertigo, and not really do much for the hearing. However, my thoughts are that the actual thought behind the Meniett device and the guy who created was that you're actually blowing air again into the external canal, into the middle ear, and from the middle ear that microscopic increased pressure pushes in on that round window, pushes in on the inner ear area, and it seems to relieve some of the pressure. My theory of this is that there's just enough increased pressure from this Meniett device to sort of squeeze out or push out just enough fluid so that the balance centers and the nausea centers that really cause that vertigo and the nausea relax and calm down, and it helps with that. And so that's pretty much the theory behind this and the reason why I think it probably works. Number four, my recommendation is, if you're going to go for this Meniett device, is get the tympanostomy first. Okay, it should be covered by your insurance. You should not have to, you might have to pay a deductible, whatever it is, but it should be covered by your insurance. It's pretty simple to do. And then do not order the Meniett device as soon as you get the tympanostomy. Put the tympanostomy tube in, see how you do, adjust to that first for the first 2 weeks. If you look at all the studies, they actually recommend that, and my experience for this past month is that probably would have done just as well or better if I would have just waited for 2 weeks, because it takes about a week or so for you to get used to the tympanostomy tube in place. Not that it hurts or anything, but then it's just a different sensation of feeling, because there's equalized pressure between the outside and the middle ear area, and there's a little bit of extra drainage, and it takes a little time to get used to it. And on top of that, the tympanostomy tube, in rare instances or cases, may actually help you with the Meniere's disease just by itself, and you may not need a device. So that's it. Number five, order the Meniett device for trial after of having the tympanostomy tube placed in. This device is really expensive. It's $3,500 out of pocket. It's usually not covered by insurance. However, if your insurance can cover it, all the better. But try it out first, and then you have 30 days to return it if you're not feeling any sensation of improvement or betterness or wellness. And then number six, if you cannot afford the Meniett device, I put the link in here, but again, order this P100 from Entex, ENTTEX. It's from Germany. I ordered this thing. It's pretty good. In fact, if anything, I think it works just as well, if not better, than the Meniett device. It comes this little capsule like this. You pop it open. Has the exact same little earplug canal thing. Has the exact same tubing. And then what happens is you have this little pump that you squeeze, and then you put this in your inner ear, or sorry, external ear canal, and then you squeeze this, and you squeeze this for probably about 5 minutes or so. You could do it continuously, intermittently, whatever, but 3 times a day. Works just like the Meniett device. What's nice about this device, though, is it's especially made for Meniere's disease, so that what happens when you squeeze the bulb and it releases the pressure in your inner ear, it controls it so that you don't overpressurize your ear and you don't damage anything. And that's the very important key. This is about 50 euros, which is about $80 at this point, $75, $80, including shipping from Germany. I ordered this. I use this actually not quite as much as the Meniett device, but I use this when I'm out running around and I can't bring the Meniett device around, or the battery runs out. This battery is almost dead anyways in this thing. And it works just as well in 2 prospective randomized trials. It works just as well as the Meniett device. And it's about 50 euros versus $3,500. So order this if you can't afford the Meniett device. The other last thing is that if you can't afford the 50 euros, but at least you have the tympanostomy tube in place, you can try this $5 bulb. It's like a $3 bulb plus it's like a little suction bulb that suctions out little kids' noses, and then there's like a little, you just get one of these little ear adapters you can find anywhere in any one of the drugstores. Plug it into the little suction bulb. You put it in your ear, and it'll work just like this will. There's a big caveat and a warning for you for this. You can damage your eardrum. You can damage your inner ear, middle ear, if you put too much pressure. So if you're going to use something like this, which I use this just as much as I use this or use the Meniett device, is just do micro squeeze, just tiny little area pressures, just slight pressures if you're going to use this. And that's the theories behind all these things. And so that's my update on the 1 month use of the Meniett device. It seems to be helping me. I cannot guarantee that it will help you, but you know, if you're desperate and you're having that severe nausea and the vertigo and it's just nearly daily or every other day, try it out before you go for surgery. That's what I would recommend, because any type of surgery or gentamicin injection, it's a permanent destructive procedure, and this is all reversible. I have this feeling that with Meniere's disease, it probably will progress no matter what. So, you know, this probably is only going to work for maybe a year or 2, and then maybe my Meniere's disease will progress and it won't work anymore. But it seems to be at least helping for now, and at least it will buy me some time before I have to go for any type of invasive destructive procedure. And hopefully it won't come to that, but you never know. Get well. I hope this helps.